has the courage to conquer his fears. That's how a champion behaves. That's how a champion becomes an achiever. That's what separates a champion from a common man.
When India plays Pakistan, it's different. It's just like Australia plays England. Results do matter. It doesn't matter how you play, but results matter.
1987, Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. First tour, third test match, he's dropped. In Pakistan, he's dropped for the third test match. I'm talking about the greatest player in world cricket, boss. How he handles adversity. And the fourth test match, we've drawn 3 test matches. The fourth test match is at Sialkot. And the ball is just deviating, zoom, zoom, zoom. Next over, vicious snorter, boss. A bouncer that rakes up, sabat, Ravi Shastri out. And I look towards the dressing room, boss. Suddenly my lights in the eye become very, very effervescent, boss. First ball that cuts him into 2 halves, zoom. Waqar was lethal in those days, boss. Lethal. Next ball, he bowled a bouncer. Sachin Tendulkar tries to hook. Ball inside edge. And I run towards Tendulkar, boss. There is blood gushing from his nose. The shirt is blood splattered. Oi. And he's groaning. And I shout for help, boss. Dr. Ali Rani is coming in.
In the fourth test match, we were in a bad position. In the second innings, we were 34 for 4 wickets down and with a day and a half to go. So I got hit on my nose when I was batting on 1. Later on I realized that I had broken my nose. Everyone gathered and then you know what happens when Pakistan team is around you. There are bound to be some comments. Javed Miandad was a tricky customer, and he said, "You've broken your nose. You can't be batting here. You have to go to the hospital." One batsman goes to the hospital. There again they start to dominate.
And suddenly I hear a squeaky voice. I turned around and I looked. The young boy, 15 and a half, had failed in 4 innings, had nothing to gain in that situation, was standing up. We can't lose this test match, Ray. Unbelievable it was. So I knew that Yorker was coming, boss. And Tendulkar had anticipated that Yorker. Shirt blood splattered. He bowled him a Yorker at 160. And he was 1.5 feet behind the crease. His brain was ticking. He scored 2 boundaries in that over. Navjot Singh Sidhu 97 not out. Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar 67 not out. Not a single wicket fell that day and we drew the test. That is the hallmark of a great champion. That's how a champion actually behaves in the middle of adversity.
And I batted for 4 more hours after that, which sort of helped us draw the series because Pakistan had the most wonderful attack in the world. They were expected to thrash us 4-0, and to draw the series was kind of a which I got to know through English guys. It was a moral victory for us. I only learned that word towards the end of my career. So it was kind of a moral victory for us. And we were able to draw, but I became fearless after that.
He scored a 100 while he was still in primary school. That, I think, grabbed the headlines globally.
There's been a lot of proteges turn up and the pressure's been too much. He delivered on the potential that was bestowed upon him and delivered on the pressure that being labelled a protege gives you, especially in a cricket mad country like India.
One of the toughest tour in world cricket. Sachin came into Indian team and there was something different atmosphere in the team because everybody wanted to protect him, And when he went and bat, he looked class, There was something different in him. They were brilliant shots, cricketing shots, And he made it look very simple. So that showed that this man, young boy, was really matured enough to play international cricket.
Probably one of the most important and valued individuals, both as an ambassador for his country and also as a player. They've always looked to champion their cause on the field.
every time he goes out to bat, it's with the hopes and aspirations of the whole Indian subcontinent on his shoulders. That's an incredible pressure to have, but it shows how many people are invested in him as a cricketer. And you know, that's an incredible achievement to have so many people rooting for you every time you go out to bat.
He's carried that burden and that responsibility of shouldering a billion hopes and being watched by a billion eyes exceptionally well. It doesn't seem to have aged him. It doesn't seem to have beaten him or worn him down.
He has given them someone to truly love on the sports field, and I think it's good. It's good for a country.
He's like a god over there. They love him, and it's amazing. And I think that's what people that have never been to India don't realise, is the expectation and pressure that's on him is unbelievable, like no other player.
Virtually a religion. That is what they say. If you've toured India as a player, and if you've visited India, you would see the impact of Sachin Tendulkar.
This crowd has come alive.
He's somebody that has given the Indian population a lot of confidence. He's provided a lot of pride for the people of India because of what he's been able to accomplish on the field of play.
A great example for all cricketers. The way he goes about his business, to keep his standards as high as he did for such a long period of time, takes an awful lot of mental strength, I think.
For me, I think Sachin has given to Indian cricket what is unbelievable, because I remember there were no sponsors, there was no logos on the shirts. Sachin came, so many sponsors came in, and people started around the world, started looking at India. It was a great package for India, and we were lucky that Sachin was born in India.
He had such a huge impact on my life that I always used to dream about, winning games for India single-handedly the way he used to do it. And it would just give me goosebumps, just watching him do special stuff like that. And so many times over the last 24 years, he's given those kind of moments to, I think, all the people in India. I can remember clearly when I was really young, I used to play with my friends, and I always wanted to be Sachin. I held up the bat, and I always wanted to bat like him, the way he used to hit sixes down the ground with a straight bat. I always used to, try to do that, and when I would pull something off like that, I would be so happy that I could do something that's pretty similar. I've had the privilege to actually play a lot of cricket alongside him and actually get to know him personally as well. For me, the meaning of cricket was Sachin Tendulkar when I was growing up.
It's very hard to measure the impact that Sachin's had on cricket, not just cricket in India, but cricket worldwide. I think he's been one of its first real global superstars. He's created interest in the game that wasn't there before he started. It's been incredible.
Have been inspired by him as a player. Ever since he started as a 16-year-old, he has attracted interests beyond India. I could recall me growing up and watching my television. It inspired me as a young player, and a player who had great ambitions of playing cricket for the West Indies. I know that he has done that for cricketers world over, not just male cricketers but female cricketers as well.
I think a lot of people around the world respect everything that he's done, and I've grown up watching him, and I think he's a phenomenal player. I can't even believe that someone played 200 Test matches. That's just brilliant.
I played a meagre 15, so to play 200 times for your country, if you think that's nearly 3 years worth of Test cricket.
I just think you can see the passion and the pride that he has for the game, and that rubs off on the rest of us. I think a lot of people around the world respect everything that he's done, and I've grown up watching him, and I think he's a phenomenal player. I can't even believe that someone played 200 Test matches. That's just brilliant.
I played a meagre 15, so to play 200 times for your country, if you think that's nearly 3 years worth of Test cricket.
I just think you can see the passion and the pride that he has for the game.
You can measure Sachin's impact on the game. I think it's so enormous that I think it's almost impossible to sum up. To achieve what he's achieved in the international game for India, I think it's incredible.
When you see Sachin Tendulkar as a cricket fan, it excites you. As an opponent, your shoulders drop. And any young cricketer growing up, especially as a batsman, should look to emulate Sachin.
The thing that I always looked at Sachin, and perhaps to think about in my own game, was the simplicity of the game. He always had the most amazing bat face on the ball, the whole Indian wristing and the ability that he had to put the ball into the spaces in the field, and just to keep his game plan really simple, I think.
Technically, what makes him so good is, I guess, his understanding of the game, the way he reads the game. You only get that kind of experience with the amount of games that you've played, and if you play 200 test matches, well, that's a lot of experience.
The hand-eye coordination for me, I just think is phenomenal. I think in terms of piercing the field, and whether it be in ODI cricket or Test cricket, just phenomenal. And just the way he goes about his innings, just building these innings, hitting down the ground, hitting through the covers, just brilliant to watch.
From a pure batting perspective, he just had the greatest balance. He just made batting look simple and easy.
It always looks when he's at the crease like he's got it under control and nothing really phases him. So I think, especially at an international level in India where there's so much pressure on their players to perform, I think, his ability to be calm at the crease, not only helps him, but I think helps his teammates as well. So I think makes him a very special player.
The one thing you think about Sachin is that there doesn't seem to be any chinks in that armour at all. That's one thing. I've been reading Ricky Ponting's book about the great players, and he says that even though there are times he could play the likes of Brian Lara and you'd be left absolutely gobsmacked and think, how are we going to get this guy out? He said at times, because he was so aggressive and wanted to dominate the game, you still thought you were a chance. But he said, conversely, when you face Sachin, a lot of the time he just looked absolutely imperious, didn't feel like he had to boss the game or anything like that, which made it even worse for the players in the field. That made you think, we have just got absolutely no hope of getting this guy out.
He's got a sound defence as well as attack. I think lots of people in modern day cricket think it's about hitting the ball, but if you don't have a sound defence, then you're in trouble, and Sachin's displayed that over a long period of time.
With the shots on the bat foot, when you see today also that highlight, going to the bowler's back, and that punch he has got, I think I have not seen a player who will have that punch, they does something on the bat foot, goes and just does this, the ball goes like a rocket.
Carried himself out in the middle with a huge amount of quiet self-confidence.
So when you play against him, he definitely knows what he's dealing with and how to deal with it. I know I've played against him a couple of times where I just felt like he had every answer in the book to what I was throwing at him.
He goes to Australia and dominates, he goes to South Africa and dominates, he comes to England and dominates. That shows a player who has mastered the art of batting and a player who has been able to set himself apart from the group of cricketers he's played alongside.
I was fortunate enough to do a Boxing Day test at the MCG, India versus Australia. It was Brett Lee's first game. Shane Warne was at the top of his game, but Sachin Tendulkar just made the batting look easy. It was a fantastic innings. And people ask me about best innings I've seen. That is the one for me.
He's one of the very few players that's got a complete package. He can play in every form of the game. He scores phenomenally consistently in every form of the game. His technique is the sort of technique that everyone wants to copy. There's a reason everyone wants to be Sachin Tendulkar, is because he's kind of the perfect cricketer.
Is that he's not really consumed with himself and his own performance. He wants to contribute, but I think the ultimate goal of Sachin Tendulkar is for his team to cross the line to win matches. And that, to me, is what distinguishes Sachin Tendulkar from the others.
There's Bradman, who averaged 99 in Test cricket. But I think Sachin sits at the top of the other list.
When I was playing cricket and we had to come up against Sunil Gavaskar, and I literally felt there will never ever be a better batsman from India than Sunil Gavaskar. But this little guy come in and it's actually shown that he is actually above those kind of names.
It is incredibly hard to compare players of different generations, and obviously what Bradman did was incredible. What Sachin's done is amazing. Those are the kind of players who will go down. They sit at the top of the table of world cricket and the history of cricket.
I don't think we'll see anyone like him or the performances he's done for quite some time. You can mention Bradman, you're going to mention Tendulkar in the same sort of breath, I think.
Top 2 or 3 best cricketers ever, I think. You can make an argument that Don Bradman maybe was a better batsman.
There's been players who have averaged more than him, but he's got the most centuries, he's got the most runs. He's maintained his performance the whole way along, which has always been at that great level, the high 50s.
If you look at the different forms of the game Sachin played, his consistency, his longevity, all the things we've talked about. He's created the sort of records that people would scarcely believe possible 20 years ago.
I don't really see myself comparing players of different eras. Sachin Tendulkar, to me, in his era, he's the ultimate cricketer. He is the best cricketer to have played the game.
An expert in his chosen craft, but at the same time an individual who inspires other people to do better.
Statistics don't lie over a long period of time, and to play 200 test matches and score the amount of runs he has is phenomenal. And I don't think any player, certainly in my time, will do that again.
100 international hundreds, that's going to be very hard to beat.
Wish him all the best in his future endeavours.
He's basically a god now, and you know, it's a pity that he has to go, but he's been around for long enough now. But what he's done for the game is huge.
I know whatever he probably touches will turn goals.
And a lot of us will be looking back in 10, 20, 30 years' time and saying, we got to see Sachin Tendulkar and be very appreciative we did.
He's led an extraordinary life because of the spotlight he's in, and he's handled all that with immense dignity, whilst being a very humble human being and just a cricketer the like of which I don't think we'll ever see again.
We need to ensure that Sachin Tendulkar and his legacy lives on, and we need to create more young players along the likes and along the form of Sachin Tendulkar so that this game could continue to live on.
Sachin leaves behind not only statistics, but he leaves behind an exemplary life of cricket on the field and off the field. And I think if most cricketers can follow that example, the game will be much the richer one.
The first Test series was an important series because I was only 16 and I did not know at that time what I was facing against. I mean, you talk about Imran Khan, world-class bowler, Wasim Akram, amazing, right. Absolutely super all-time, one of the greatest bowlers to have played. Waqar Yunus, I would put him in the same league. Abdul Qadir, again in the same league. So it was a world-class attack, and I went out to bat in the first game. And straight from school cricket to one season of first-class cricket, and then to play against the best bowling attack in the world. I was clueless. I had no idea. I was getting beaten by the pace. I'd never experienced someone bowl at 90-95 miles an hour, and I could actually see the ball, but while I was reacting, the ball was more towards the keeper, closer to the keeper rather than it should be closer to me. But then I said, "Oh, this is a wrong place, and you got in the wrong place at the wrong time." And I got out. I got out on 15. While walking back, I somehow controlled my tears. I was only 16 then, so I was allowed to do all that. I went to the bathroom and I cried, and I looked at myself in the mirror. Said, "This level of cricket is not for you. You're not good enough to do all this." And fortunately, I got about 6 days in between. So I ended up speaking to a lot of the senior players in the team, the coach, and they all said that you batted as if you were playing a school match. This is not a school match. You need to learn to give respect to these world-class bowlers, and you need to just hang around there, give yourself some time. And in the next match, I went out. I was just hoping that I get picked for the next game, which I was. And the next game, I decided not to look at the scoreboard. I said, the only time I'm looking in the direction of the scoreboard is to look at the clock, because I had decided my target was that I'm going to bat for half an hour, not worrying about runs. And after half an hour, I got used to that pace, and I said, I can deal with this pace. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. And that changed my thinking. I scored 59 in that test match. And from there on, I never doubted my ability. But the first match, I thought it was my first and the last one. The most uncomfortable bowler for me was Hansi Kronia. When Donald was bowling from one end and Hansi was bowling from the other end, it helps to have a discussion with your partner in the middle. I would tell them, that take care of Hansi and I'd face Donald. Because somehow I didn't feel comfortable. If I flicked, there was a leg slip there somewhere. If I played a big shot, I got out at deep mid wicket. If I left the ball, I got LBW. So towards the end of my career, Hansi's career, unfortunately, I'd figured out that the best spot was to be at the non-striker's end if I had to survive. If you're asking me one bowler that I should name, it's really difficult. How do you differentiate? They're all world-class bowlers, and I have so much respect for all these guys because all of them have taken 400 plus wickets, and once you've gone past that level, then it boils down to an individual judgment. The one in Perth, 1992, I was only 18 then, and that was a fast wicket. Everyone, I guess each and every Aussie know how fast the wicket is and kind of bounce it generates. So for someone who had never experienced that kind of pace and bounce, and Australia as usual was playing terrific cricket. So for me to go out there and score runs on that pitch was really important, and I can almost say the turning phase of my career, because after that I was not overconfident, but I was confident to play any attack in the world, and I felt I was ready to face any attack in the world. I was able to challenge many attacks after that in the world, but that one particular inning was the best inning, but the most meaningful innings, and something which has stayed with me now and it will stay with me forever, has to be the one that I played against England in Chennai in 2008. That was a time when Mumbai was hit by that terrible terrorist attack, and the one-day series was cancelled. England went off to Dubai, and they graciously came back to play the test series. And when we turned up in Chennai to play the first test, none of us were in the frame of mind to play test cricket, any form of cricket, because all we kept discussing was, how could this happen to our nation and why did it happen? It was the toughest phase of my career, and I would speak on the behalf of our team. It was really, really tough. And for first 3.5 days, we were completely out of ideas. We could not put up a competitive performance. And England gave us a target in the fourth innings of 375 runs, 374 runs to win on a difficult track, and they had a fantastic attack. Anderson, Harmison, Flintoff, Swan and Panesar. So the top 5 bowlers in the recent past that they've produced. And we were able to win that game. We chased 375 on a difficult track. But to see the entire nation celebrating that victory, even for a second, meant a lot to all of us. And I played a significant role in that. So that is the most important innings of my life. I always wanted to win the World Cup. That was the reason I started. And as the time went by, I started enjoying cricket, and I started realizing the challenges of cricket. And my coach was instrumental, along with my brother, to my elder brother Ajit, to make me realize the importance of leading a disciplined life, a focused life, and to make me push harder. They found reasons, and even towards the end of my career, I followed that formula. If I scored runs, let the rest of the world talk about it. I think about the next game. And that, right from my school days, became an unwritten formula, unwritten law at home, that we don't talk about the last game, we talk about the next game. And however many runs I scored, I wanted to go out and score more than that. So If I didn't score, I would have a restless night. If I scored runs, I would still have a restless night, thinking that how am I going to score more? And that's how it all happened. I normally don't discuss numbers, but this is something that I must share with all of you. Towards the end of my school cricket career, I already started playing first class cricket. And the last season, I can proudly say that I averaged 1,025. My brother and my coach was instrumental in that, because every time I scored runs, none of them said well played to me, and that's why in my farewell speech I said to my coach that at least now you can take a chance by saying well done. Something that I lived for was appreciation from my coach and my brother, which never happened. And that was something which sort of kept me giving my best all the time. There were a number of challenges, and for that, I think my family has been my strength.
It's a little bit like Muhammad Ali's boxing. He would take it to the 12th, 13th round. The opposition is tired. That is what happens on day 4 and day 5, and it can only happen in Test cricket. It doesn't happen in other formats.
The reason to start playing cricket was a strange one. I was a notorious child, difficult to manage. I took a lot of pride in that. One of the evenings, they were showing a famous Bollywood film on a TV channel, and in those days, there were not many channels back home in India. So we friends thought this is the best time to polish off all the mangoes from the tree, and we fell down. We also brought the tree down with us, and that was a turning point of my career, because my brother and my family, the rest of the family members said, this is enough, and then you're not allowing more of these complaints to come home every evening, because that was supposed to be my summer vacations, beginning of my summer vacations. And I said that we're going to make you burn all your calories on a cricket field. You do what you want, you love cricket, go out and play with the season ball. And that's how my career started. And gradually, I did not know, I was only 11 years old. I did not know what were the big tournaments, but the dream was there in front of me. I wanted to play for India, because as a 10-year-old, I had seen Kapil Dev lift that beautiful trophy at Lord's, 1983 World Cup.
I saw that happening on television, and I felt that yes, one day even I want to hold the trophy. I want to do the same thing for India. So at the age of 10, you're not matured enough to understand what it takes to get there. And that I only realized in the following years. When I started playing serious cricket, I would ask my brother, so what next? So we kept climbing up that ladder till the time I got to the national squad.
When I was 11, I was taken to Achrikar sir. Sir was standing right behind the net, and I was batting. I was so tense. Sir is standing right behind me, and I should bat well, and in that I was not able to connect. Not a single ball I connected properly. And sir politely told my brother. Sir knew my brother, so sir politely told him that, he's still young, you give him 6 months more, you work on his batting a little more, and then you bring him. So my brother requested to sir, he said, I know he can bat better than this. So you know me, I've played cricket and I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm not making this request because he's my brother, but I know he can bat better. And he gave one idea to sir. He said, sir, why don't you go and stand, 50 meters away and watch him from there. So sir literally went, on the other side of the pitch, and he was quietly watching me. He had asked me to pad up again and bat. And that time, when I realized that sir was not standing behind the line, I started playing all my shots, and suddenly found that sweet connection, and I was able to hit most of the deliveries. And that's when sir said, yeah, you were right, we'll get him to practice. And my career started from there. But the first time sir saw me, sir had rejected. So
when I had attended my first summer camp, my coach Ramakant Achrikar, so sir called him, my father, and told him that Sachin, I see that spark in him. would he be interested in pursuing this as his career? Which was a massive decision for my father, because where I lived, the whole colony is filled with scholars, poets and writers and professors. So for them, Sachin is going to play cricket. There were a number of occasions when I used to bunk practice and just to spend time with my friends. And my coach, he would come on his scooter from Shivaji Park to Bandra, pick me up, said, okay, you're not wasting your time here, get your kid back, get changed into whites, let's go and practice. I did not get a chance to be like a normal 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid. And at the end of the day, my coach would tell me, okay, I'm going to give you 12 minutes to survive. You cannot get out. There were almost 200-300 fielders around, so because anyone could catch. It helped me when I went to proper stadium where only 9 fielders were there on the field and I could not see anything else. It became much easier to find gaps. Sometimes I used to throw a season ball up on the ceiling literally and take it on my body so that I get used to that pain. Nothing stopped us from playing unless I was not able to hold a bat at all or I was not able to run at all. But I would suggest, all the kids, please wear a helmet. There was only plan A in my life to play cricket for India, and everything else was playing a supporting role. It was more about the number of runs that I scored, not how big my bank account was, didn't matter. And for me, when I started at that time in 1989, till the end of my career, I did not know how much I was getting paid to play for India because I never looked at it that way. Playing cricket for India gave me a lot of satisfaction, that joy. It was a huge honor. I didn't want anything else in life. So I always say that if the journey starts from your heart, then you can go all the way. But the journey starts from your brain and the calculations come into play. You start looking at your bank balance. Then you're going to find it difficult. And that's why I say, more than a profession, it's my passion. It's my life. When we started, I don't think there was enough money in the game. And today, there is a reasonable amount of money. So if you just stay focused on the game for 10 years, you need not worry about anything for the rest of your life. So stay focused on what you're good at. Father clearly told me that what you are doing at the age of 16, not many children in the world do that. So my father said, okay, he devane dilili gift hai, so this is a God's gift. Doni hatane pakadun tail, which is hold this with both your hands. That means don't take things for granted. That would be my message to anyone and everyone. It need not be just cricket. Any field that you are in, don't take things for granted. If you are gifted with something special, hold it with both your hands and value what you've got and work on it. From a sports loving nation, ideally it should be sports playing nation too. That is the transition I would like to see.
Jonty Rhodes is special, and that is God's gift. He's the best fielder I've seen, and he would put doubts in your mind. Even if there was an easy single and you saw Jonty's face, you would say, no, I better run hard because you never know. And that fear he was able to put in your mind.
At the age of 15, when most of us are studying for our ICSE and SSC exams, you're playing Waqar Yunus.
A couple of years ago, Mumbai press felicitated me, and I got this opportunity to thank them personally, because every now and then you meet individuals, but you never get to thank everyone collectively. So at the same time, I told them that my father never pressurized me into picking a cricket bat. He never told me that, I'm a writer, you have to also start writing. He gave me complete freedom to express my talent and be whatever I wanted to be in life. Whatever I dreamt of, he supported those dreams. He didn't want to live his dreams through my career. And the same thing I want Arjun to do. He chose to become a cricketer. He loves cricket. Early on, he was in love with football, then chess. And all those things continue, but he wants to become a cricketer, and he has chosen that. the kind of freedom that I had, I would expect everyone to give him the same freedom, and then to fall in love with cricket. You know, if you fall in love with cricket or your passion, that is the best thing you can do in life. And the results follow, you know, your process. Process is really important. And all I go out and tell him every morning is this, you know, Arjun, you have to appreciate what you've got in life and not complain what you haven't got in life. And that way you would be in the right space. You know, it is important for a sportsman to be happy. And if you're happy with yourself and you're happy with your effort that you're putting in, the results will follow. Don't worry about scoring centuries, because people will come and tell you, oh, your father didn't bat like that. But I wasn't batting like that at maybe 14 or 13 either. So people are comparing. It's a wrong comparison, because people are judging me after having played international cricket for 24 years. And you are starting your career, so don't get bogged down by that. Don't let that fire within you die down. You have to go out and enjoy the sport about it. I want him to be happy in life, and that is what matters. Okay. It is not, I mean, if he wants to play for India and that is his dream, then I would go all out in supporting him, encouraging him and directing him. But if he doesn't play for India and he's a happy person, that is what matters to me. One regret has to be when Pakistan toured India, I think in 2000 or 2001, around that time, after a long time. And we were playing in Chennai. It was a very tight game, and we had 4 wickets in hands and needed 17 runs, and we lost that game, which was a huge disappointment.
You scored 100 and got out. Just 16 runs away from victory.
Exactly. And that is when, you know, my back pain started, and at tea time I remember lying in the dressing room with you know, cold towels all over my body, because my whole body was cramping, and back had started hurting terribly. So after the game we lost, and I was in the dressing room, I was crying like a baby because of you know, I was so disappointed, and all that feeling wasn't a great one, and I didn't go out to receive Man of the Match award. That is one regret. I should have controlled my emotions, and I should have gone and faced the world, and I should have taken that award and done whatever. So that is one regret. That is one thing I'd like to change. Going to Kerala just now as a national sports competition, where I was their ambassador, and I spent time with the organizers, and you know, I said I would promote sport, promote football, various other things. We identify talent when they are 12, and at the age of 18, we expect them to bring us gold medal back when they are competing in Olympics. So that's something I want to change. As a sportsman, I want to introduce this in schools. Sports as a subject in school, because it's going to have a positive impact on the nation. There could be healthier doctors, there could be healthier journalists. I won't join politics, so once a sportsman, always a sportsman. I would like to light up the entire nation. There should not be a single house in India without electricity or without light post sunset, and that is my dream. The best thing about being Sachin Tendulkar is I was madly in love with cricket. I'm still in love with cricket, and I enjoyed playing cricket. People enjoy watching me, and they also paid. You know, so how many people get to live their passion throughout the career and also earn money from that and make life out of it, which is the best thing. The love and the adulation, respect that I've received from everyone, I'm ever so grateful. And worst thing, the other side of the coin is, from the age of 14 I had started traveling a bit, and then when I played for India quite extensively, I missed out those wonderful years of spending time with my family, my friends. There were a number of friends who would go out and watch a movie, and I would be practicing, or I would be on tours. Then the second half of my career was when I got married to Anjali, and I had two beautiful kids, Sarah and Arjun. I've missed their birthdays, I've missed a number of special occasions which mean a lot to 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and all the parents would exactly understand what I'm trying to say here. And I had no option. And the toughest thing for me was my son was not so happy that I was playing cricket and leaving him. He was only 3-year-old then. And then for almost first 6 years of his life, he didn't speak to me on the phone. And if I was away for a month and a half, that was without even hearing Arjun's voice. He absolutely hated that, so which was really difficult for me. And I would tell my wife that at least make him say hello to me on the phone and I'd be happy. You know, to stay away from them was the toughest bit for me. The right values, because I was brought up by my parents, teaching me the right things in life. There were a number of occasions when my father used to be in the living room and I found difficult to figure out whether it was my father's closest friend or a postman or a cleaner, kachrewala as we call it, because he treated every individual with so much respect. And I learned that from an early age. And one message which he gave to me was, you know, that was when I started playing for India. He said, you've already achieved what you wanted to be in life, to play for India, but what happens after this? I would appreciate if post-cricketing years, people still loved you as much because of your nature, the person that you are. And that is something which is going to stay with you permanently. The rest will be all temporary phases. You know, you'll play for 10, 15 years. So that foundation was laid. Number two was, there was a balance between the excitement of success and the disappointment of failures. Nobody got carried away with when I was successful in school cricket. There were no huge celebrations. We would just offer a box of sweets to God and thank for whatever came my way. So that process continued. Even, you know, in my last test match, my brother called me after I got out and he said, why did you do that and how could we rectify that? And I'm thinking on the other side, we are talking on the phone, and I'm thinking, I don't know whether I'm going to go in ever again to bat or not. And we are still discussing, but the important thing was that process continued throughout my career, which contributed immensely. And last, but the most important thing was my passion and my love for cricket. I would practice for hours and hours, and I would never get tired. My coach would actually get me out of the net because it used to be so dark that we could barely see each other, but we'd still be practicing. And then after that, getting tired, the most beautiful thing was at the end of the session, all our school friends will get together and eat loads of vada pavs, you know, and those memories are incredible.
I actually felt that, you know, this is the right time to move away from cricket. And then I made a request to BCCI to organize the last match in Mumbai so that my mother could come and watch me.
You're a man who is very good at hitting a ball with a piece of wood. Why has that made you into such a huge celebrity?
Well, I don't know the reason behind it. Maybe people like the way I use the willow. When I took this decision of retiring, I never thought the reaction would be like this. You know, this is something that you cannot plan. This script was written by the Almighty.
Settle down, let me talk. I'll get more and more emotional. My life between 22 yards for 24 years. It's hard to believe that that wonderful journey is coming to an end. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank people who've played an important role in my life. Also, for the first time in my life, I'm carrying this list to remember all the names. In case I forget someone, I hope you understand. It's getting a little difficult to talk, but I'll manage. The most most important person in my life, and I've missed him a lot. Since 1999, he passed away, my father. Without his guidance, I don't think I would have been standing here in front of you. He gave me freedom at the age of 11 and told me that chase your dreams, but make sure you don't find shortcuts. Path might be difficult, but don't give up. And I've simply followed his instructions. Above all, he told me to be a nice human being, which I'll continue to do so. I've tried my best. Every time I've done something special, whenever I've showed my bat, it was my father. So I miss him today. My mother, I don't know how she dealt with such a naughty child like me. I was not easy to manage. She must be extremely patient. For a mother, the most important thing is that her child remains safe and healthy and fit. And that's what she was most bothered about and worried about. She took care of me. For last 24 years that I've played for India, but even before that, she started praying for me. The day I started playing cricket, she just prayed and prayed and prayed. And I think her prayers and her blessings have given me the strength to go out and perform. So a big thank you to my mother for all the sacrifices. In my school days, for 4 years I stayed with my uncle and my aunt because my school was quite far from my home. And they treated me like their son. My aunt, after having had a hard day's play, I would be half asleep and she would be feeding me food so that I could go and play again tomorrow. I can't forget these moments. I'm like their son and I'm glad that it has continued to be the same way. My eldest brother Nitin and his family have always encouraged me. My eldest brother doesn't like to talk much, but the one thing he always told me that whatever you do, I know you would give 100% and I have full confidence and faith in you. His encouragement meant a lot to me. My sister Savita and her family was no different. The first cricket bat of my life was presented to me by my sister. It was a Kashmir willow bat. But that is where the journey began. She is one of those many who still continues to fast when I bat. So thank you very much. Ajit, my brother, now what do I talk about him? I don't know really. We've lived this dream together. He was the one who sacrificed his career for my cricket. He spotted the spark in me, and it all started from the age of 11 when he took me to Achrikar sir, my coach, and from there all my life changed. You'll find this hard to believe that even last night he called me and we were discussing my dismissal. Knowing that there was a remote chance of batting again, but just that the habit which we've developed and the rapport that we've developed since my birth, it has continued and it will continue. Maybe even when I'm not playing cricket, we'll still be discussing technique. Various things we agreed upon, my technique, and so many technical things which I didn't agree with him. We've had arguments and disagreements. But in the end, when I look back at all those things, if that hadn't happened in my life, I would have been a lesser cricketer. The most beautiful thing happened to me in 1990 when I met my wife Anjali. Those were special years, and it has continued. It will always continue that way. I know Anjali being a doctor, there was a wonderful career in front of her. When we decided to have a family, Anjali took the initiative to step back and say that you continue with your cricket and I'll take the responsibility of the family. Without that, I don't think I would have been able to play cricket freely and without any stress. Thanks for bearing with all my fuss, all my frustrations, and all sorts of rubbish that I've spoken. I normally do. So thanks for bearing with me and always staying by my side through the ups and downs. You're the best partnership I've had in my life. Then the two precious diamonds of my life, Sara and Arjun. They've already grown up. You know, my daughter is 16, my son is 14. Time has flown by. I wanted to spend so much time with them on special occasions like their birthdays, their annual day, sports day, going on holidays, whatever. I've missed out on all those things. Thanks for your understanding. Both of you have been so special to me. You cannot imagine. I promise you, for 14 years and 16 years, I've not spent enough time with both of you. But the next 16 years or even beyond that, everything is for you. My in-laws, Anand Mehta and Annabelle, both have been so supportive, loving, caring. I've discussed on various things in life, generally with them, and taken their advice. You know, it's so important to have a strong family who's always with you and guiding you. Before you start clapping, the most important thing they did was allowing me to marry Anjali, so thank you very much. In the last 24 years that I've played for India, I've made new friends. Before that, I've had friends from my childhood. They all have had a terrific contribution. Right from, you know, as and when I've called them to come and bowl to me in the nets, they've left all their work aside, come and help me. Be it joining me on holidays and having discussions on cricket, when I was a little stressed and wanting to find a solution so that I could perform better. All those moments, my friends were with me. Even for whenever I was injured, I would wake up in the morning because I could not sleep. I thought my career was over because of injuries. That's when my friends have woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning to drive with me and just make me believe that your career is not over. Life would be incomplete without all those friends. Thanks for being there for me. My cricket career started when I was 11. The turning point of my career was when my brother took me to Achrikar sir, my coach. I was extremely delighted to see him up in the stands. Normally he sits in front of the television and he watches all the games that I played. When I was 11, 12, those were the days where I used to hop back on his scooter and play a couple of practice matches a day. You know, first half of the innings I would be batting on Shivaji Park. The second half, some other match at Azad Maidan, and sir would be taking me all over Mumbai to make sure that I got match practice. On a lighter note, in the last 29 years, sir has never ever said well played to me, because he thought I would get complacent and I would stop working hard. Maybe he can push his luck and wish me now well done on my career, and because there are no more matches, sir, in my life. I would be witnessing cricket, and cricket will always stay in my heart. But you've had an immense contribution in my life, so thank you very much. My cricket for Mumbai started right here on this ground, Mumbai Cricket Association, which is so dear to me. I remember landing from New Zealand at 4 o'clock in the morning and turning up for a game at 8 o'clock here, just because I wanted to be part of Mumbai cricket. Not that anyone forced me or Mumbai Cricket Association pressurized me to be here, but that was for the love of Mumbai cricket. And thank you very much. The president is here. Thank you very much, along with your team, for taking care of me and looking after my cricket. The dream was obviously to play for India, and that's where my association with BCCI started. BCCI was fantastic right from my debut, believing in my ability, selecting me in the squad at the age of 16 was a big step. So thanks to all the selectors for having faith in me, and BCCI for giving me the freedom to express myself out in the middle. Things would have been different if you had not been behind me, and I really appreciate your support, especially when I was injured. You were right with me and making sure that all the treatments were taken care of, and I got fit and fine playing back for India. The journey has been special. Last 24 years I've played with many senior cricketers, and even before that there were many senior cricketers whom I watched on television. They inspired me to play cricket and play the right way. Thanks so much to all those senior cricketers. Unfortunately, I've not been able to play with them, but I have high regards for all the achievements and all their contributions. We see it on the mega screen, Rahul, Lakshman, Saurav, Anil is not here, and my teammates right here in front of me. You are like my family away from home. I've had some wonderful times with you. It's going to be difficult not to be part of the dressing room, sharing those special moments. All the coaches for their guidance. It's been special for me. I know when MS Dhoni presented me the 200 Test match cap on day one morning, I had a brief message for the team. I would like to repeat that. I just feel that all of us are so fortunate and proud to be part of Indian cricket team, serving the nation. Knowing all of you guys, I know you will continue to serve the nation in the right spirit, the right values. I believe you've been the lucky ones who have been chosen by the Almighty to serve this wonderful sport. Each generation gets this opportunity to merely take care of this sport and serve it to the best of our ability. I have full faith in you that you will continue to serve the nation in the right spirit to the best of your ability and bring all the laurels to our country. All the very best. I would be failing in my duties if I didn't thank all the doctors, the physios, the trainers who've put this difficult body together to go back on the
God
field
of cricket.
and be able to play. The amount of injuries that I've had in my career, I don't know how you've managed to keep me fit, but without your special efforts, it would never have happened. I mean, the doctors have met me at weird hours. I mean, I've called them from Mumbai to Chennai, Mumbai to Delhi, wherever. I mean, they've just taken the next flight and they've left their work. They've come, they've treated me, and which has allowed me to play. So a big thank you to all three of you for keeping me in good shape.
The God of cricket.
My dear friend, late Mark Mascarenhas, my first manager. We unfortunately lost him in a car accident in 2001. But he was such a well-wisher of cricket, my cricket, especially Indian cricket. He was so passionate. He understood what it takes to represent a nation and gave me all the space to go out and express myself and never pressurized me to do this ad or promotion, whatever my sponsors demanded. He took care of all of that, and today I miss him. Thank you, Mark, for all your contribution. My current management team, WSG, for repeating what Mark has done, because when we signed the contract, exactly told them what I want from them and what it requires to do representing India. They've understood that and respected that, so thank you very much, WSG. Someone who's worked closely with me for 14 years is my manager, Vinod Knight. He's more like my family, and all the sacrifices, spending time away from his family for my work has been special. So a big thank you to your family as well for giving so much time for my work to Vinod. In my school days, when I performed well, the media backed me a lot. You continue to do that till this morning. Thank you so much to all the media for supporting me and appreciating my performances. It surely had a positive effect on me. Thank you so much to all the photographers as well, where those wonderful captured moments will stay with me for the rest of my life. So to all the photographers, a big thank you. I know my speech is getting a bit too long, but this is the last thing I want to say. I want to thank all the people here who've flown in from various parts of the world and supported me endlessly. Whether I scored a 0 or I scored 100 plus, whatever, your support was so dear to me and it meant a lot to me. Whatever you've done for me, I know I've met so many guys who've fasted for me, who've prayed for me, done all sorts of things for me. You know, without all that, life wouldn't have been like this for me. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and also say that time has flown by rather quickly, but the memories that you've left with me will always be with me forever and ever. Especially Sachin, that will reverberate in my ears till I stop breathing. Thank you very much. If I've missed out on saying something, missed out on few names, I hope you understand. Goodbye.